the council president is leaving, and I don't have the ability to mute. That's dangerous. No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. Ryan, could you fix that for me?
Evening, Dominic. How are you? Happy New Year.
Thank you, Dr. Mims. Happy New Year.
Victor, I miss our meetings.
I know we haven't had one in a while.
I am not rushing them either.
We're not live yet, right?
Yes.
We are?
Yes, we are.
Oh, glad I asked.
Councilman Rivera, are you now running the meeting?
It seems like it. I don't see it on the...
In that case, you will need a motion to go back into open.
Okay.
Thank you, Dominic. I appreciate it. So, yes, let's have a motion, Madam Clerk.
Council President Rivera, 1 minute. 1 minute from Mr. Mayor. Was that Councilwoman? Ryan is asking you to hold for 1 minute.
Okay.
Councilman account needs to be reconnected.
Okay.
Council President, I'll make a motion.
I just asked, I just did.
I second.
Second.
We gotta give them a minute. They're setting up, Councilwoman Cotton. Madam Clerk, before we move to the roll call,
Yes,
You want
Council President.
you want to basically, read the number, to the public, in case they wanna call in for the public portion?
Ryan is still asking me to hold on. Can I just wait until everything goes?
Okay. Oh, Council President, perfect.
Did you get started?
No, Ryan is asked to wait for a minute, Council
All right.
President. We are good to go, he said. We are good to go now, Council President.
Okay, so,
So-
Madam Clerk?
Can I repeat the numbers for the public portion?
Yes.
Okay, for those who would like to participate in the public portion, you may call in at 973-321-1579 and enter meeting code 8326. Press 1 to listen to the meeting, press 2 to leave a recorded message, and press 3 to be added to the speaker queue. Council President.
Okay, very well. Do you have anybody on queue?
Not at this time, Council President.
Okay. So we're resuming back our, going back into our special meeting, correct?
Yes, Council President.
So, can you read the item into the record? And
Sure.
be ready to take action. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Resolution authorizing settlement of pending litigation claim in the matter of James Reyes versus City of Paterson, Robert Kale, or Dr. Robert Kale, Kale Orthopedic Center PC, PASL 004-170-18 is a law resolution 21685.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez and second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Council President. Roll call on item number 2 for adoption. Councilman Abdulaziz.
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton. Councilman Jackson. Councilman Mendez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Rivera, Councilman Velez,
Yes.
Councilman Jackson,
My apologies, Madam Clerk. I'm getting phone calls relative to the shooting on Main Street. I'm gonna be heading out after this vote. First and foremost, let me just comment on this. It's not just necessary to come forward and just vote, because the public needs to be made aware of how we're squandering their money. So if we have these consistent lawsuits that's coming forward and there is a disparaging treatment and relative to people who grew up in the city of Paterson, it's a necessity to let it be known. I mean, I get sick and tired of certain individuals in this council trying to depict how things are being done when they're the main culprits and moving, in unison with a political agenda, but now talking about everything that's being done just people want to be televised. Some of us don't need notoriety. Some of us are well known enough. Some of us don't need to be grandstanding. Some of us are making effort to make the public aware of some of the BS that some of you are consistently being a part of. So with that being said, I'm gonna say, as I said before, not in agreement with this settlement, because I think the young man was treated poorly. He was, he gave his service to this community. He worked on behalf of the Paterson Fire Department under excruciating circumstances where we know that there's been tons of racial disparity treatment against officers of color, that's Black and Hispanic officers in the ranks of the fire department for many, many years. So there is a necessity to make the public aware that there is one of our own who was mistreated, who had to take the law in his own hands, as the same thing when people are quiet, when you got a city employee who has to come on a public portion and talk about how he was mistreated, and here everybody sits quietly then. So everyone's sitting quietly while people from Paterson are being treated poorly. And then they want to, pass judgment when some of us are being more vocal, as I continue to be, which I will still continue to be. So, I'm obviously, it makes no sense for me to vote to not move this thing forward, because it's going to pass and people are just passing the buck. But we have to make sure that we, fight on behalf of all of our residents, including the ones that have been being mistreated by these departments. With that being said, Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam President. Madam President.
I'm sorry, Councilman Rivera is here.
Oh, Councilman Rivera? We're voting on the settlement agreement.
Yes.
Madam President,
Yes.
the votes are 7 yeses, 2 absences. Item number 2 is hereby adopted.
One second. Councilman Mendez, you didn't vote?
Yeah, he did.
Yes, he did.
He did.
Yes.
He voted.
Voted yes? Okay.
Yes, you voted. The only person who didn't vote was Councilwoman Cotton, and she's not here.
Okay.
His internet is not working.
Okay, very good. So, okay.
This is crazy.
Council President, can we move to close the special emergency meeting to
Have a
proceed?
motion.
So moved. Second.
Move by
It's been moved by Councilman Aziz,
Second.
second by Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to close the special meeting.
roll call to close the special emergency meeting. Councilman Abdelaziz,
Yes.
Councilwoman, she's not here. Councilman Jackson,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Rivera,
Yes.
Councilman Velez,
Council President is going to be leaving soon. Council President, if you need me, I'm here for you. I I will work as a DoorDash if you want. And for Happy New Year if I don't see you from there, okay? My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Madam President.
I don't know why you don't think you'll see me before, but I appreciate, okay, you being my DoorDash, okay? Anyway, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Madam President. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. The special emergency meeting is hereby closed.
Okay, we can go back into our regular,
Regular meeting. Yes,
close-out meeting, correct?
yes, Council President.
Okay, so, Councilman, Rivera, as I've asked that you take the meeting, before I left, I wanted us just to quickly discuss item number 23, since I do know that, you know, others, may have to leave as well. I know Councilman, Jackson has a situation in the first ward. You know, at this time, as I stated when I began the meeting, you know, information was being put out there, but no conversations were necessarily had. And that item, I don't know, do we have to put that item into the record, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Council President.
Okay,
Item number 23 is a resolution to return the school board elections to April so that the annual school budget would become subject to voter approval. It's a city council resolution that is being sponsored by Councilman Shane Khalid, Resolution 21681.
okay.
Madam
So,
Council President, this is Dominic Stampone.
yes.
With your permission, I'd like to release Mr. Afanador.
Oh,
Oh,
I thought he left.
hey,
I have just logged off, and on his behalf and mine as well, I want to thank you and your colleagues for the emergency meeting consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I thought you were gonna mention something on item 23, since there
I
was
can
some.
help if there's a question on that as well. I'll be here.
Okay, so before we can actually enter into discussion, as I started in the beginning of the meeting, that I stated that that item is an item that Councilman, you know, Rivera, and I don't want to speak for himself because it's all on tape, that there's been quite an amount of concern with the increases for the last few years on the Board of Education side. And so we the council, when we're out there, we are constantly being told by the constituency, you know, you continue to raise our taxes. And mind you, okay, there is a 2% cap within the city, and I know that through SOAR and other entities, we have to do that, right? But in the last few years, we've seen an increase of I believe 20%. And Councilman Rivera, if you can kind of the last 2 years, just in terms of numbers, and why some of this conversation came about, and why this resolution was put forth. Today was to have a discussion to see if the council wanted to move forward and have the constituents be the ones to vote on the school budget. Because as you all heard through its school board BA, there is a potential now 9.4% increase coming up, you know, this coming year. And so year after year, we've seen a major amount of increase. And as I had a school board member contact me and just basically, and it was not the president did not reach out to me at all. But there was a member who did say, well, the council doesn't consult with us when you're gonna increase sewer fees. And so that was just part of, you know, and I said, let's not have this conversation. I think we're able to have a bigger conversation. So I'm gonna,
Council President,
for now, to Councilman Rivera.
Council President, before you go there, but it's listed as a resolution, but you calling a discussion before voting on it? Or are we gonna move second?
So just so you know, when it was presented to Corporation Council in a finance meeting, it was asked to prepare a resolution for consideration, so to have the discussion with the entire council. This is not just something that two people decided we wanna do this.
I know.
Council,
I know, but my question is, you put it in the agenda as a resolution for vote, but you're gonna have a
that's
discussion?
not how, so it read that way, but it wasn't, that's a Corporation Council. I don't know if in conversation with, you know, Mr. Ibushi, our Corporation Council, because it was supposed to be a discussion and to see if we move forward for it to go to workshop on the
So-
11th.
So we could send it straight to the workshop and then we could discuss it here without going into detail now, because we still gonna talk.
Okay, Councilman Rivera.
So Councilman, so notice needs to be given to the board, right?
Oh,
And we're gonna have a brief, shouldn't be lengthy, brief discussion. And then from there we'll go to workshop, then we could have a lengthy discussion there. But this should be brief of why we even, why in finance, Councilman, Kalik suggested we bring this up at this time.
okay.
Well, can I continue, Madam President?
Yes.
So basically, we did an article in the newspaper stating, the situation. They basically gave worst case scenario to the district. And, we have friends in the district, but this is not about friends, this is about residents, taxpayers of the city. And I've been complaining for the last few years about the increases from the school district, right? Their levy went from like 41 million to like 16 million in a matter of 3 years, right? In comparison, our levy from the city in the last 3 years have gone from 156 to 160, right? So our levy is supposed to be, is our budget is almost 3 times the amount as their levy, to us. So after speaking to some of the board members, they assured me at one point, they were like, look, we're not gonna try to, do this again. But then the article comes out, and I don't wanna leave things to chance. I wanna make sure that we at least have a conversation, and then we have a conversation with the board, right? It would be the right thing to do. We always talk about shared service agreement with them. Let's not mess up the relationship. We're gonna entertain this, but then we should have a meeting with them before even, this goes to workshop. Because what happens is, the way it is right now, this is my biggest concern, colleagues. So we're a distressed city. We get transitional aid. The reason we get transitional aid is because, the residents cannot absorb supposedly could not absorb a $20 million increase from us, because we could get off transitional aid with $20 million, right? So you have the state giving us $20 million for transitional aid, but then the same state, different departments, same state, is telling the district they need to continue to increase, the levy. So the 20 million that we have as a deficit in our budget, they have increased in 3 years. And the worst part is that they have a cap bank that allows them to continue this type of increases. And that's the concern I have. And I would like to have a discussion.
President,
I'm not saying is that, so Councilman Mendez, actually, you're still the president, Councilman Mendez, you're still here.
Actually, so it's Councilman Jackson, Councilman Mendez, and I think that's what I saw.
I only have one question. Are we discussing the impact on the levy and the increase in taxes from the school, or are we discussing moving the election for school board back to the other?
Well, that's part of it, Councilman, so you are right? So the item on is the consideration to, have the conversation to move the election back to April, right? But the reasons for it, like, why was it? Because, I heard some, it's a shame, because anything you put in text, anything that you're calling people up, someone's always gonna be recording or saying whatever. And, and to make the statements that I heard coming from the school board or some school board members that this council wants to take over their budget, I put this on record now. I do not want to take over their budget. This is specific to the people, bringing the budget so the people can vote on the budget. And why? Because of the situations that Councilman Rivera has spoken about. But again, it's a conversation to be had, and I think we should all have the conversation. It was Councilman Mendez and Abdelaziz.
So I'm gonna have to disconnect because I need to get out here on North Main Street. There was a young man that was just shot by a police officer. I don't know the details as of yet, but I think that this conversation can be had another day. So I appreciate.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead. So you know what? We may not even have to have the conversation now, and we'll just move it forward to the workshop. But I'm gonna have Abdelaziz, Mendez, and then Abdelaziz.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, and I'll be brief on this. I'm excited to have this conversation, but I definitely believe that we should, this have to take, we have to send it to the Education Committee, Finance, and then make sure that we get it ready for the workshop. There is a need for this conversation to happen. Councilman Rivera, you mentioned that in multiple times. We have this conversation in multiple occasions, in sidebar, inside the council, on
And
the
finance, and in finance.
finance. We have this conversation on finance, on how the Board of Education has been increasing the taxes in our homeowners without us having a say on that. I think that this is going to be critical for us to say, and I'm sorry, I don't know who mentioned friend at the Board of Ed. I was a former board member. All my friends and I board member, but this is not about friendship. This is about Paterson. It's unfair what's going on with our taxpayer. Around $20 million in 3 years. So if we change the election to April, the taxpayer, they're gonna be able to vote on that budget. Number one. Number two, if not, that budget going to the council, and we're gonna have a discussion. That's a responsible decision to take it right now at this time. The Board of Education has around $700 million budget. Paterson is a poor city. So this is the fight that we have to take. We have to have that conversation on the committee that need to be on, and also at the council on the next meeting, at the workshop, and move on with this. I respect my colleague at the Board of Education, but our homeowner, they need to have a say on that budget. That's all I'm gonna say. And Madam President, I agree with you 1,000%. I know we have multiple items on the agenda. And maybe in half an hour, I'm gonna have to step out, but I think that we should move on and have this conversation at the next workshop and take care of the business that we have pending at this time, because it's almost 10 o'clock.
Councilman Abdulaziz?
Thank you, Council President. So, this is a great discussion that needs to be had, right? This sends a loud and clear message to our colleagues on the Board of Education. There's tools put in place for checks and balances, right? This doesn't necessarily mean I'm for or against this, but you look at the pros and the cons right now, right? And one of the pros is allowing the taxpayers to vote down on their budget, right? Even if this doesn't pass, I think this is sending a clear picture to the Board of Ed that we're ready to act if they continue increasing the taxes on our residents, right? Especially during a time when the district is receiving millions and millions of dollars, right? This is the time that there should be no increase on the tax levy. Our kids are going remote, right? Services are dwindling. I didn't run for Board of Ed, so I really don't want to jump into that because that's a separate headache that I'll get my blood pressure up. The city council seat is enough for me, right? I need my health and well-being to be good. So that's why I ran for city council. Here's what I'm going to tell the council, where on the other side of the spectrum, and on the other side of the court, and I'm going to be quite frankly, because you got to be real with yourself when you look at legislation. It's all great to send the referendum to the voters. That's awesome. But you also got to anticipate if it gets voted down, guess where that budget comes to? The city council. Councilman, I'm just telling you my feelings on this. I've been on this council for 3 years, right? This council can't agree to order a pie of pizza from the same restaurant. I saw what happened with negotiations when marijuana legislation went through. I can't imagine having 5 of us come together and try to get a budget, make budget cuts for our school children. We got to get our act together. And that's something we got to look into the mirror if we decide to go that way. And I'm being real. You guys may not agree with me, but ask the residents in the city. This isn't the mayor presenting a budget. This is solely a council function. And how do I know this? My friends in North Bergen. Every year, their budget gets voted down. But the mayor and the commissioners work together to make the cuts needed along with the Board of Ed. I don't know if I have that faith amongst us. And this is something we have to sit down and talk amongst us. To take a $700 million budget to say, oh, we're going to cut $10 million, oh, this service is going to go down, that's something we really need to understand what we're getting ourselves into. And the council needs a legal understanding. That's all right, there should be further discussion, I'm giving you my pros and cons, I wanna hear more, but Council President and my colleagues, just know how we're gonna get a budget in front of us. We can't sometimes pass our own budget without having the risk of a shutdown. Thank you.
So on that note, you said something about legal, and I'm happy that you mentioned legal, because this was not just ooh, let me do this, okay? This was thought, this was spoken about, this Corporation Council, reviewed it. If you all, there was an email sent from their legal, which was quite interesting, but I'm not even going to quote any of what was in that email, but I'm happy that our Corporation Council was able to respond, that we are legally doing what's correct if we decided to move forward, that we're not doing nothing illegal as it was stated, and that we were not in compliance, and so, that in itself, the verbiage in the email was a little uncomfortable to see that, because we were not doing anything that was not within our purview and our right to do so. And to have a conversation, we are able to do so. This conversation had to start so that we can give them sufficient notification. And so, the memo is there, you can all read what the memo was stated, and I asked Madam BA, to send our Corporation Council's response to the Board of Education and its legal department pertaining to this. So, Councilman Rivera, I'm sending it off to you, and I am signing out.
So, we were elected to make tough decisions, right? I don't think I was elected to just sit here and complain. I always try to find a solution to things. I'm not saying this is the best solution, but something needed to be done. 3 years in a row, seeing these increases, they could make their case, but to the taxpayers, it's unacceptable. We increase taxes because it's mandated by the state, probably $200 on an average assessed home in the last 3 years, total, $200. Us, the council, the mayor, council. The district in 3 years, $400 something, right? $400 something. And it will continue. We gotta have the conversation. We're not saying we're doing anything right now. All we're doing is having the conversation. We're gonna speak to them. But just not doing anything because of the work that we might be facing. Yes, it is difficult sometimes to work with some of my colleagues, but you know what? We were elected to work together, regardless. You've gotten, so council members, Councilman Delacies, you've gotten a lot of your projects done that you have, planned for, and you've gotten the majority of the support. The mayor has gotten a lot of things done here with this council body, believe it or not. You're never gonna have a perfect council body that's not gonna question things, that is just gonna go through directly. This is not the type of government we have here, right? Everyone here acts as an individual, and as long as we get the majority of the votes, I'm okay with that. Do I agree with my council colleagues all the time? No. Would I like to, do I agree with the behavior of some of my council colleagues? No. But the people elected these people to work with, and that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna move this forward, and we're gonna have conversations with the Board of Ed, and we're gonna go to workshop. Councilwoman Mims, I see you, I acknowledge you, I say yes, give me a minute. So you're next, Councilwoman Mims, Councilwoman Cotton, Councilman Velez, let's make it short, because we have an agenda. Councilman Mendez just stated he's leaving, we might not have enough people to pass the rest of the agenda. So let's make this quick, please, if you don't mind. And I don't mean to rush you, no disrespect. Councilwoman Mims.
Thank you, Council President. So Corporation Council, Dominic, I don't know if you're still there, so you go off screen, are you there?
Clear, Councilman.
I would like to see it in writing, or, you can verbally express it, but also in writing. I saw that it was posted, and I'm not sure if it is the law or not, but I would like to know. It was stated that before this type of action can be taken from this particular body, that there had to be something in writing presented to the school board within 85 to 86 days before this type of injunction could take place. I'm not sure if you know that answer off the top of your head, Corporation Council, and it's okay if you don't, but if not, can you provide that in writing? Because I want to make sure that even though, this body or, individuals are, they want to move forward with this particular item, I want to make sure that we're within legal ramifications for whatever is moved forward from this particular body. As a former school board member, served on the school board, I want to make sure that now that I'm on the council, that I'm not crossing over into someone else's purview. So I'm not sure if you know the answer to that, Corporation Counsel, but if not, it's fine. If we can have that in writing, and if that is the case, then we definitely need to do our due diligence, right, within that 86 or 85 day window. And that gives us that time that we can have a joint collaborative conversation with the school board, so that it presents a good neighborly environment. So I'm not sure if you have the answer now, Dominic, and if not, if you can provide it to us in writing, please.
Thank you, Councilwoman. If I may, through the Council President, I actually have both answers. We can provide it to you in writing. We essentially already have that prepared. And the answer is that we need to provide notice, which we will do that in writing, although frankly, counsel for the Board of Ed's letter to us essentially amounts to a form of acknowledging notice that the council has this intention. So if this is released to the workshop agenda to be considered, we would provide that notice to the school board in writing, and the statute allows us to proceed without need for approval from the school district, and they cannot act to veto. So in other words, the statute says that either the school district or the governing body can make this move, and if it is the governing body, it is with notice to the district. The only thing that guides us is the timing, because it has to happen 85 days before the election. So that brings you basically to your next meeting, because the deadline would be, I believe, somewhere at the end of January.
Okay, so let me just understand what you stated. So if this were to move forward, you're saying that there will have to be notification between that, because notification was not done. So we have to start from step one. So where does step one start? From the day of the workshop and then 85 days, or is it 85 days before it's placed on workshop? I'm just trying to get some clarity. Because if you're saying there is a date, right now, this is supposedly, right? I'm going by what has been stated. This supposedly is supposed to be a discussion before an actual workshop. That's what was stated. So my question is, from that date, from what date are we starting from for that 85-day window process? What is that date? Is that from the workshop date? Is that from the discussion date? Corporation Counsel, I just want it from you, Corporation Counsel.
Yes, you're gonna
I'm trying to get that clarity.
Get it from Corporation Counsel, but before we even decided, this research was done months and months ago. It was not brought out because we didn't want anyone to think that it was politically driven, right? Right before their election, we didn't want nobody affected by this. So as soon as this article came out, I did have conversations, not as a committee, just as individuals, as a former member. I would grab them and say, listen, we got to stop with these increases. So they would tell me, look, we're not going to do this, but then this article comes out, and that's what prompted Shaheen Khalik to say, you know what, we can't take a chance anymore. Let's put that on the floor. So that's how this transpired. But this research was done a while back, and you could attest to that, Mr. Stampone, that this is not something that was done overnight. And,
Right.
And we have done our due diligence when it comes to asking Corporation Counsel for guidance. If we cannot do it, if you go find out, do research and find out we cannot proceed, then you let us know. But we're using our Corporation Counsel and their advice.
So, Council President, just to finish,
Yes, Stampone got an
just to
answer.
finish, so I understand that even if discussions were held, whenever they were held, I'm just trying to understand by law, what is the actual date? You can have as many discussions as you want, which is fine. I'm just asking by law to Corporation Counsel, what date does the clock start from that age? Because conversations mean nothing until it's presented to the entire council body, right? It's just a conversation. So I'm asking for the law. I'm not talking about conversation, what is trying to be done. What is the law from this legislative body as it relates to crossing over into someone else's jurisdiction to make this happen? I'm just asking, what is the law, Corporation Council?
Corporation Council?
And again, through the council president, if I may?
Yes.
Again, the governing body, the municipal government, or the school district can initiate an election date move. If it is in fact the governing body, which from the sound of this discussion, the tenor of this discussion, it sounds as if there is interest, then we would need to put the school district on notice. So tonight, if this matter is released to the workshop agenda, we would put the school district on notice in writing that there is this discussion and consideration that's going to be heard by the council. And then, if this governing body adopts a resolution, and it must then provide it to the county clerk by January 24th, because that would satisfy the 85 days before the election in April. So if we provide notice in writing, we satisfy the statute that we're notifying the district, and then if you in fact adopt it as the governing body prior to January 24th, the election move would be effective April 2022.
So, saying to that point, two questions. The first question is, will that be the notification? Will that notification be suffice enough to meet the law requirements for the school board?
Again, I'm of the opinion, and obviously the Corporation Council and others in the law department will weigh in, but I'm of the opinion that the school district is already on notice. The school.
But how are they on notice? Is it because it's on our agenda? How is notice made? That's not notice though. Just because something is on our. Let me just give the point, Corporation Council. Let me just finish my point, Council President, 1 second. I'm asking, just because something is on our agenda, that is not suffice, and by law, it does not give us the credence to say, we have notified you. That is against the law.
Notify you tomorrow.
We have to officially alert them. That is law. Like, we can't say, we have this item, because this is what's being said here. And I'm just trying to understand. I'm not saying I'm for or against. So I don't want nobody to take it and say, well, Mims, she's going this way. Mims is not saying that. I'm trying to understand the law. We have an item before us, item number 23, that is saying, let me read it, because I don't want to paraphrase. I want the resident to here.
Hold on.
It said it's a resolution to return school board elections to April so that the annual school budget will become subject to voter approval. That is the item before us, right? And it's being said that it was a discussion piece. Doesn't say discussion piece here, but that's what we've been told. So I'm just trying to get clarity on first of all, we know we have to notify the school board. Corporation Council, you just said that. We have to. We have not officially done that, and that's what I'm questioning. When will they get notified?
Councilman, hold on, council members. We're not acting on this tonight. How about we do this right now, right? We're gonna move it to the next workshop. Any council member could put anything on our workshop, right? This is getting to workshop, regardless. It's getting to workshop. Let's let the, our legal counsel continue. We're not saying we're gonna move the whole way with this, but this is gonna generate the discussions that we need to have. We need to put up this fight for the taxpayers. I'm not saying we're gonna go the whole way, but staying and doing nothing is not gonna do anything to protect the taxpayers. This is the point that I'm trying to make. When it's like workers. When workers feel that they might lose their jobs and they don't wanna lose their job, they're gonna start, looking into doing their job a little better. All we're asking the school district is to be mindful of the taxpayers of the city of Paterson. Is this the right way to do it? a lot of people disagree. But sometimes we have to take drastic measures like this in order to be heard. This is gonna go to the workshop. We're gonna continue to let our legal department continue to look into this. We already heard Councilwoman Mims or her concerns, and that's it. I'm gonna let Councilwoman Cotton, speak, her piece. Councilwoman Melessa, let's just end it there, please, and let's continue. We have a lot of things on the agenda still to finish. Thank you, Councilwoman Cotton.
I don't know how much longer I can say either, but thank you, Council President. I just want to say that I got the memo in front of me from Ahmad, amen, September 8th, 2021. And it clearly outlined the three options of returning back to the election in April. It clearly outlines it. Now my thing is, and I hear Corporation Counsel in here, there's nowhere mentioning nothing about 85 days. Now, I would like to see what your brief is gonna look like, that you're gonna do, Corporation Counsel, to what I received the September 8th from our Corporation Counsel. I would just like to see it because it clearly states, and they said the waiting period was 4 years, which we passed the 4-year waiting period for the school board with the decision that they wanna make. It's clearly past that, but nowhere in here, Corporation Counsel, does it states anything about 85 days. And I'm talking about that came from our Corporation Counsel that I got. So I would like to see what you're gonna send out tomorrow or the next day. It doesn't clearly say what it says, and I know that, and everybody are concerned with the taxes that with going up, and taxpayers, homeowners are not getting no kind of relief from not much. But nowhere does it say 85 days, Corporation Counsel, in the first letter that I received from Corporation Counsel. So,
If I may briefly, I don't want to belabor it, but the resolution that we drafted for your consideration, that was for discussion tonight, does include the 85-day language. It may not be in the actual memo, but it's in the reso. So the 85 days comes from the statute. And just to go back to Dr. Mims, clearly written notice is what we will do. But I did want to just point out that the purpose of notice is to not catch anyone off guard or by surprise. And clearly the fact that the district council wrote us a letter about this indicates that they're well aware of the discussion. But yes, we will write a letter. If in fact this is released to the workshop, we will write a letter formally placing the district on notice. And if there's any other questions, myself or obviously the Corp Council or anyone in the law department can answer more.
Thank you. Councilman Melez, make it brief, please.
Yes, I just want to make it briefly. I know that somebody wants, it's good to pitch that they got notified. When I received calls from commissioners, conversation was made way before today with them. And also, this agenda was published by law, so they know, and there was advice that this conversation was going to take place. So now we're going to make it official with the letter of Dominic Sampon, Corporate Counsel, send it tomorrow, and nobody had excuse formally that this discussion taking place.
I just have one last point, Council President.
Councilwoman Mims, yes.
Okay. Corporation Counsel, I just want to also put on record the New Jersey statute, the NJSA code 19 semicolon 60-1, section 1C. I'm not sure if we want to make sure that we allude to that statute as it relates to other governing bodies passing resolutions outside of the school board and what the obligations are to the county clerk and to the clerk's office. There are obligations that are outlined in the New Jersey statute in NJSA 19 semicolon 60-1, section 1C. So those things have to be, they have to be abided by. So I'm just making sure, for me, I'm just covering. So I don't want no one to go, and Paterson, you're listening to me clearly. because I do my research. I want it duly noted that this legislative body, if they're pushing or doing whatever they're doing, that we are following protocol and the law. Because there are clear laws and what happens if this body were to move forward. I'm in agreement, Council President, I've stated it, even in the voting on the budgets, when it came to these high increases, I was not in agreement, I voted no. Paterson could look up my voting record, I was not in agreement, because it was just a lot, and taxpayers are screaming because of their, the tax increases. But I just want Corporation Council, I'll send it to you, I'll text it to you, make sure we have the NJSA, that language, because it's clearly outlined what happens if another governing body puts forth a resolution to this nature. What are some of the steps?
We'll have a legal, just like they're having the legal team look into this. And again, this is not against us against them. The situation that we have, Councilman, is this. Under the MOU every year, and I want the residents to hear this, and I wasn't elected to just sit down and let it continue. Under the MOU, as long as we're on transitional aid, we have to increase our tax levy a certain amount. Is it a 2%? What's the percentage? 2% under the MOU. So when people run for office and say, we're not gonna raise your taxes, well, if you wanna get $20 million from the state for transitional aid to relieve the taxpayers, you have to increase the taxes a little bit. And that's what they're forcing us to do. Now, my frustration was this. Newark got off transitional aid. Other towns have gotten off transitional aid. We often say we cannot afford to get off transitional aid because we will have to put $20 million on the back of the taxpayers, right? So we get $20 million from the state. In the other hand, you have the state now telling the district that they need to increase their taxes. Not 2%, not 2%, to increase their taxes significantly every year. So if we were to just raise our taxes 20 million, every year we could tell the mayor, no, you're not raising taxes if you don't cut this, that. But we're told every year we have to increase 2% because we're in transitional aid. So something needs to be done. We need to have a conversation with them. We need to minimize what happens to our taxpayers on a yearly basis. As elected officials, we cannot control right now, and we cannot control certain things, but at least we need to, for them to be mindful every time they do this tax increase. So let's just move this to the workshop agenda for discussion. We're gonna let our corporation council continue to do its research, and we're gonna have some conversations with our school district. We're not saying we're gonna proceed with this, but we need to have the conversation.
The conversation has to be a committee as a whole, because.
Right, we're gonna have the councilman, we're gonna decide later on how we're gonna do have the conversation with the district, but it needs to be had.
Correct.
And thank you, Corporation Council, for your assistance, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Continue with the agenda, please. Madam Clerk?
When is the next workshop?
January 11th,
And the regular meeting?
January, 7 days after that.
Oh, good.
All right. So hopefully this will get resolved without taking.
Correct.
All right, so let's continue the agenda. Madam Clerk. So far we've done 8 and 9.
Council President, can we get the agenda appointed Harry Savallo?
We did 8 and 9 already.
That's what I just said, we did 8 and 9.
Okay, you know what, I can't stay here for all this other stuff that we got. Let's pick up the important ones.
Hold on a minute. Javier, which ones you pulled out from this agenda?
He pulled out 14.
14 through 17 are out.
Right.
Okay, 14 to 17 are out. So let's go to number 10. Madam Clerk, number 10. Still there?
Which one is
Madam Clerk?
Madam Clerk?
Are you not hearing me? I'm sorry.
We hear you. Which number 10?
Yes. Item number 10 is resolution authorizing cancellation of calendar year 2021 budget, appropriation, balances. It's a Finance Resolution 21:668.
Move.
Second. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Who seconded it?
Discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Mims.
I just have a quick question. Do any of these, budget transfer votes, do they require 6, votes? Or, is it just majority vote?
Majority, I checked it.
Okay, thank you.
Council President, who seconded this motion?
I did.
Okay, thanks, Council President.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call for approval on item number 10, which is Resolution 21:668. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
You say yes.
Yes, I say yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Council President?
Yes.
The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 10 is hereby adopted.
11. Do 11.
11 is a resolution authorizing cancellation of street opening permits trust funds. It's Finance Resolution 21:669.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mims. I have a question, Javier. Why are we canceling, the trust funds?
We're still dating the checks. They're over 7 months, so we just gotta still date them, but they just come off our books, and if somebody comes that didn't get their money back, they can come get it.
So the money's still there though.
Yeah, the money's still there, right? We're just taking it off the books.
Javier, are you doing some kind of method to advise if they have an address or number to let them know that the funds are sitting there?
No.
Why?
When they come and deposit the money, I don't think they just drop off $100. I'm not sure if, I would have to find out if there's more information than they give other than the name when they, do the deposit.
The money's there, Councilman, we'll be there. Let's just move to cancel it. So,
I know, Council President, but, when they put the permit, they put an address, phone number and everything, so I see, like 5 items of $600, I believe if they make a notice, hey, you could retrieve this, I don't know.
let them follow the process. This happens in every organization. It happens where checks go out and they're still dated checks. They cancel them, but there's a process. Let them follow their end. Let's just do our end. The council's end.
Very quick, Council President, I think that, there's gotta be, I know we're going into the cancellation, but there is a process in place about this. I got an experience when somebody was fighting for a check for the last 4 years, and for the city, it's hard for the city to keep record. I don't know why the city doesn't keep record of that. When somebody pulled a permit to open a road for dumps or whatever the case, there's a document that the city needs to have,
Just stated these are checks that were issued back. This is refund, right, Javier? That's what you said.
We do keep a record of it, Councilman Mendez.
But this is checks that went to people that did not cash it. This is what
Okay.
we're-
Okay.
The next one, has to, let's move on.
Let's move on. Roll call.
Roll call on Resolution 21:669. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Continue doing the same process that you've been doing for the last 30 years. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cotton?
I think, broke a record. For 9 years I've been sitting here for a closeout meeting, I've never, anyhow, record broken out. My vote is yes.
Thanks, Councilwoman. Councilman Mendez?
Yes, one vote.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
This is, the first time they had a lot of items for a closeout meeting.
Councilman Velez, your vote?
Yes.
Thank you. Council President? The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 11 is hereby adopted.
Number 12, Madam Clerk?
Yeah.
Item number 12 is a resolution authorizing cancellation of dumpster permits trust funds. It's resolution 21-670 and it's a finance resolution.
Move.
Second.
And it's the same process, right?
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. How come the summary that is written here, how come it doesn't read like, canceling outstanding checks?
The next one is council outstanding checks.
Yeah, but it is right here. The summary reads that you're canceling the trust fund. That means it's no longer gonna be a trust fund. That's how it reads.
No, we're canceling the stale check, but if you come back, we can still give you a check.
I understand, but the way it reads in summary, I'm talking about in the agenda. The way it reads is like you're canceling the trust fund, like getting rid of it.
You are canceling it, yes. But we keep record of it, so you can still get it.
We're not gonna have it, no, but your trust fund's still gonna be open.
Yes. Not the trust fund, we're canceling that permit itself. That, it's $100 fee for the permit, we're canceling that permit itself.
Got it. Next time we work on it.
Trust fund.
Alright. Roll
Oh,
call.
I got you, the trust fund part, I got you.
The way it reads, he does this agenda from our side. He means that we cancel the
I got
trust,
you.
the trust funds, not the outstanding checks, but the actual fund. That means that you're no longer gonna put the monies in that fund. That's what I mean.
Okay.
So let the record reflect, we're not canceling the trust funds. Alright, roll call, Madam Clerk.
I'm sorry, roll call on resolution 21-670, Councilman Abdelaziz,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton,
Let me just say to CFO, Javier, sometimes, you do have names by certain checks, when we close out. I've noticed that before, we do have names.
I can
I
send them.
don't see nothing now, but I've seen names next to these check numbers.
For outstanding checks, for
Yeah,
some of them we have these.
Huh? Some of them you do?
Yes, I can send that to you.
Okay, because I know I've seen them before.
We're in the middle of roll call.
I know we are. My vote is yes, but I just want him to
thanks,
do that.
Councilman Mendez.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Before my vote, my last comment was about number 12. The remaining 12,600 is the unclaimed deposit for July 1st. Silva, that was my comment that I know you have record of the people that submit those applications for dumpster and so on and so forth. So if you have a method to let them know that they have a deposit, that was my question. But my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez.
Let's say we increase the dumping fee, they probably gonna be interested to recover it back, $100 nothing. That's what it said.
Thank you. Council President.
So Javier, to Councilwoman Khan's point, you should just put it in the resolution in the future. I seen it, I think that's the way I've done it before.
Yeah.
The list here is public information. Just put the list of all the checks that are being canceled and put the checks we're payable to.
Yeah.
My vote is yes.
Thanks, Council President. The votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Resolution 21-670 is hereby adopted.
Number 13?
That was
Item 13. Sorry. Item number 13 is resolution authorizing canceling outstanding checks. It's Finance Resolution 21-671.
Well. Yeah.
Second.
Discussion.
Moved by, who moved it?
Me.
Councilman Velez,
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by
Councilman Abdelaziz.
Councilman Velez.
Hey, Council President.
Councilman Velez.
See, now it makes sense what you guys requesting about the names on the canceled check, because right now I see tax sale redemption, $309,000. We wanna know, who's the person supposed to receive those kind of money. We're talking about a lot of money and we don't have a name, so, it's good to have a name on it.
Good. Javier, what do you, we're still not voting, so we're in discussion right now. So the large check, for example, have you tried to, not just the large check, all these checks, have you tried to at least,
So these are checks that we mailed out and people never cashed. So, you know, there's really,
We're talking about one big check, investors, tax sale, who don't wanna cash that check? You know, it's like, you have, it went to a tax sale, it was a tax lien, it was a tax sale, and on top of that, you cut a check, you know, who's not gonna be interested to cut that, you pay, you know, get that check?
So Councilman Velez, hold on a minute. You're in front of your computer right now. Could you just pull up that check and see who's payable to?
it's not one big, it's about 50 checks.
That make up that number?
It's a grand total of.
Yeah, these are all that totals. I'm forwarding the list with the names right now from the whole council.
That's fine, but guys, this is something that gets done, you know, that's done often. In reality, every organization that cancels checks like this, you're supposed to submit it to the state, the forfeiture funds. It's not done all the time, but you're supposed to. I don't know if you realize that if you put your name in the system, sometimes the state have money from you, from checks that you never cashed before. That's what they do. When they do cancellations like this, they send it to the state to hold those funds. So you-
Out of that list,
No, please, hold on.
Yeah.
Speaking at the same time.
out of that list,
Please, hold on.
yeah, out of that list, only two,
Councilman Mendes.
or,
No, listen, Council President, I will be brief. I want to make sure that we continue to move forward with the agenda. But I just want to share my personal experience in Silva. This is what I'm trying to tell you. We're talking about large, significant amount of, dollars in those checks. There is a consistent, there's a homeowner that we went over 3 months looking for to prove the city that the city have a few thousands of dollars that they have to reimburse me. And thank God we got the document. And other than that, the city doesn't have any records. And it's hard. So there's gotta be a system in place because I know the city doesn't have it. I could give you the information about that person. That way you could know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
So there's gotta be a in place, let's say $8,000, check 7, 4, 5,000. That's a significant amount of money.
Council members, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna cancel the checks. Javier's gonna give us a list of all the people that are there.
and you contact them.
The money's still owed to them. It's still owed to them. Whoever pays the money, we gotta give it to them. So let's,
We called them.
And what's gonna happen is you're gonna recognize a whole bunch of names on there. And then you're gonna say, you know what, you got a check down at City Hall, you better go get it.
Council members, that's good for your reelection. You call them up and say, hey,
I got money for you.
don't give that list out. They're gonna go door to door.
Don't give any ideas, Council, no more ideas.
you're right, you can't give me a button, please? Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Give me that list tomorrow.
President, roll call and resolution 21671, Councilman Abdelaziz,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendes,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. All jokes aside, Javier, work in the system to make sure that they get notified from the city that they have checks pending. My vote is yes.
thank you, Councilwoman Mims, I'm sorry. Councilwoman Mims,
We're gonna roll call tomorrow. I can't, Madam Clerk, there may be a roll call going out to the Councilman Abdelaziz tomorrow. Our phones are gonna blow up. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
thank you, Councilwoman Mims. Councilman Velez,
I have the list, please call me early today, and I will tell you you have money in the bank. My vote is yes.
thank you, Councilman. Mr. President,
Yes.
the votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 13 is hereby adopted.
All right, let's do number 18, Madam Clerk.
18 failed, Council President.
You're right, I forgot to cross it out. 219.
Item number 19 is resolution authorizing the solicitation of bids for the Riverside Oval Artificial Turf Athletic Field, bid number 22.16 for the Department of Public Works, resolution 21677.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Mendez, second by Councilman Mims.
I just have a question, Council President, on item 19. You know that field, is very, the community use that field a lot during the summer. I'm concerned about the time window when we're gonna start with the project, so, the question that I have for Bill is that, are we gonna be able to utilize this field during the summer?
Depends on when the bids, this is to go out to bid right now, we gotta wait for the bids to come back. Then we have to, do another, resolution to award the bid. So we're talking anywhere between 60 and 90 days for even a startup.
Okay, gotcha, and so this is the field, this is not including the
And
line.
depending on how much it comes back at, you gotta remember, we're not doing it on the co-op anymore, we're going out to bid for it. So the price is gonna be higher than it was, so we gotta see how much the price is. And remember, this includes the lights, all new concrete work around the dugouts, all new bleachers for the viewers, all that, new lights.
Okay, the bathrooms are not included, I know we have the bathrooms are in good condition.
That's the brand new building.
Got it, okay, all right, thank you, Council President, good to go.
All right, roll call, Madam Clerk.
Council President.
Councilman Velez.
I believe I did the move, but the strong voice of Mr. Mendez jumped our minds. So I just want to let you know that.
Continue with the roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Council President, roll call and resolution 21677, Councilman Abdelaziz.
Back on the first day I was on the council, we made a priority to fix our fields, right? We started with Buckley, and every year we've grown and done one additional field. So Riverside Oval definitely needs it. To the director, this is not an approval, right? Because you're going to solicit the bids, and we'll see how much it comes back for. But once you come for an award of contract, I would like to see the blueprints. I would like to see what's going to be out there. I want to see the drawing board, and let us know what the specs are. So just give you a heads up. I know you're telling me what's going out for bids. Just when you come back for award of contract, please bring the dimensions. I know Councilman Rivera and Councilman Mendez, you can bring it back to the community to show them what's being put out there and get some input from the community. Big projects like this should have community input. So my vote is yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Cotton.
Well, thank you, Madam Clerk. And since I have Billy sitting here, I had asked for the blueprint for Barber Park, so can you please send that to me? I'll call you later, Director. But with that being said, when I was a kid, I went to school 18. I think in 5th grade, but we always had.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Mendez.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. That's Riverside section, part of the 3rd Ward, a very good community. That field it's in definitely the big disrepair that needs to be fixed. But the director, yes, when you get the blueprint, please share it with me. I'm gonna have a conversation with the community. I'm already going around letting them know what we're planning to do there. But they're gonna be very excited to, what we're gonna build there. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims.
So I'm very happy as a resident of the 3rd Ward to see this moving forward and progressing. But I do want to put on record 2 things. One, my prayers that Common Fields is next for our lady softball players. They are desperately in need, so I pray that that is next. The other point I want to make to the administration, I'm not sure if in addition to what we're doing, I remember there was talk in times past of MLB grant dollars that we would be able to find to allocate to some of our fields. I'm not sure if we're still planning to do that, but if we are not, can we still look into that with our grant writers to see if there are additional funds that are available that can be done outside of bonding or, putting more burden on the taxpayers. So I'm not sure if we've done it already, but I know there was talk in the past. And if we have not, can we still look into that to make sure that we get some state-of-the-art fields? Thank you, Madam Clerk. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
I believe our colleagues is gonna agree what I gotta say now. This administration raise every press conference about what they do in the fields, in the parks, et cetera, et cetera. Let me give you a great news. The agenda of this administration is being forced to do that. That's why Councilman Flavio, Department of the City. So when I hear out there press conference saying, I'm doing this, and not raising the council to enforce the administration to do it. And I'm gonna tell you how we enforce that. When they come up saying that we want this budget, we want this approved, we wanna do this, you're not doing that unless you don't do this. That's governing. So I wanna commend all the council members here, all right? And also I wanna commend the DPW committee to moving forward this initiative in committee. Council Billy Rodriguez, I know it's gonna be more expensive. This park is gonna be more expensive than the other ones because the state did not allow us to go to court. And that's why we are in this position now. But once again, all the dirt fields that you see around is because the council had requests to put the money to the community, and they had to obey what they said. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Mr. President?
So to that point, my understanding is that we're gonna use grant money for this field.
Correct.
Let's see how, these bids come back. So let's not settle.
Mr. President, the votes are 6 yeses, 3 absences. Item number 19 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Council.
Number 20, thank you, Ben. Number 20.
Item number 20 is resolution authorizing an agreement for an even exchange of sewer use to address one Paterson house connected to the Woodland Park sewer system and one Woodland Park house connected to Paterson sewer system. It's Finance Resolution 21-678.
Move discussion.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by,
That you guys made, instead of getting the money that they owe us for the sewer connection?
Council President, if I could stress, have very minimal water usage. It's not something that we don't see big developments that have houses connected to our system that are not. That any new development going forward that gets put onto the system has to abide by the same rules that are applied to our residents under that agreement. We were not able, but they are now off of our system and they are no longer utilizing the sewer.
$6,000 or it's a very small amount.
that's all we're asking. We're not asking, I'm talking about the debt that was
Correct.
for maybe 10, 15, 20 years.
Correct.
That's what we're asking.
Not utilizing figures that reflected what the, I know the outside counsel has not been able to make progress on kind of that going backwards, but we want to do it proactively going forwards with any new, with ones.
Right? That wasn't the only thing that sold it for us to proceed. But that was one of the sales pitch. Someone asked, would this make it easier for us to go after those towns that owe us,
No, I think you're, no, I'm not gonna, suggest that you're misremembering, but that we would be able to put a process in place for things going forward. That allow us to collect millions of dollars to help our sewer system. We were able to put a new agreement in place utilizing our ordinance.
Madam DA, no one's talking about millions. We were just talking about what was due to us, right? And I remember the conversation like it was right now.
I'm of the city's total sewer flow. So I just wanted to make sure that we're all talking the same numbers.
Madam DA, why you always go to the slides? Remember, your slides,
Actual usage, and that they're paying the same thing plus a little bit more than what city residents are paying.
it's not worth the time for me to not sleep tonight and go through all it. Because it's not worth it. It's not about proving somebody wrong or right. But I would never
Okay.
make it look like this. But go ahead, Councilman.
When this utility was created, it was to make sure that the sewer is gonna be self-sustainable. Now, the administration failed from the beginning. They make a mess from the beginning by creating this entity because they never got it right from the beginning, number one. Number two, now we're still talking about our neighboring town and working that out, but the administration was quick and fast to send the bill to our homeowner in terms of based on consumption, increasing the sewer on a humongous amount, but not, holding people accountable, our neighboring town, those people that they need to pay those tax dollars. So that really makes me upset. It's something that is not, I just have a request, before I move on, Council President, I have a request, because I'm gonna tell you, I know you're getting all those calls. It's unfair what happened with the sewer here in the city of Paterson. Our homeowners are struggling, suffering.
Getting off the subject, the subject we're talking about is the collection for the third party. We already told they didn't go for what we were owed in the past. What they're saying is the ones that are connected now, are they paying now? That's what we need to know. Are the ones that are
Council President, I understand, but let me just tell you the reason why I'm making this request is because I want to make sure that this administration is charging what they need to, what they're supposed to charge it to all those entities that are in the city, the same way they've been charging our homeowners. So, Madam
So we can answer that right now, and yes, we are.
Councilman,
Okay.
can you provide us a
Council, I understand, but I just want that to go on record because we need to have a discussion, Council President, on that. It's not fair that our homeowners are struggling, and I'm not quite sure if they're charging the amount of money that they're supposed to charge to those entities that have a lot of resources.
I agree with you. I already asked for that information a while back. I'm sure they have, and they're gonna share that with us. Could we vote on this item? Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Council President, roll call on resolution 21-678, Councilman Abdelaziz. Councilwoman Cotton.
Is this a resolution we switching house from one house to another house? Is this a resolution?
Yes.
I have no trust in this administration. And I want to make sure,
Okay.
I want to remember, just
Not the workshop,
before my vote.
not the workshop. Bring it to
So,
finance.
I will,
Thank you, because this has been going on for a very, very long time. When I was on finance with, Council President, it's been going on a long time, so I'm sure Mayor Kazmark is watching, almost a year and a half. So I'm really grateful to see it get to this point where we can, provide resolution and start working, to do what's right, to make sure that what belongs to us, and what belongs to other municipalities belongs to them. Madam Clerk, thank you so much,
Years, and that is getting resolved. And I have to,
Then we have it, but we're not discussing that in workshop.
No, I'm not asking to discuss, I'm just saying, the information, just present the information to all council members.
Correct.
That's all I'm requesting.
But yes, share the report as I stated with the entire council.
Thank you, Council President.
Please continue, Madam Clerk.
Yes, item 1-679.
move,
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Mims. Discussion. I have a question. What does this petition entails with this duty?
But as needed by state law, each city has to designate someone to serve as the Public Agency Compliance Officer, or the PACO. And that's the liaison between any division duties, it's similar to it's the purchasing agent. And so last year, I believe, this was I don't know, Mr. Harry, are you there? Are you able to jump on?
Harry? Harry, one more time.
Say it again.
Last year, I became the Paco because that time one was Andrea Harris when she was the affirmative action officer and / Paco.
Sensation when they were given this title? Do you happen to know?
No, no, I don't have the answer to that.
Through the Department of Treasury Division of Purchase and Property Contract Compliance Audit Unit. So that's
As the agent, purchasing agent, and now a big responsibility, at least he should get a stipend on the work that he does. So that's my recommendation.
That's a conversation. We'll meet, maybe in finance, I'm not sure, because things are not, everybody's not treated the same in the city. I know.
Correct.
But I'm not gonna get into that right here. This is not the.
Not being redundant, Councilman Velez, you actually took my point away. I was going to make a request of an amendment to the ordinance to add a stipend to this resolution. Scope of his main responsibility of his job and what he's called to do, and this extends him beyond those borders. So I want to add to the recommendation of Councilman Velez that this resolution be amended, and that I don't think it's fair to Mr. Savalas that he takes on an added responsibility of something that's required by law, and he's not getting any type of restitution for it. So I want to put that on.
And I even sat with you, Madam VA, as a mayor, and I said, really? Everybody else, the only person in that report that I received was Mr. Savalas. And I remember it right now.
or,
Yes,
discuss further, because there were,
we're gonna have that conversation. But I just don't
Mr.
think,
President, can that information be provided to the council? Because I think, I haven't seen it, but that sounds very egregious, that would be the case. And if that is the case, and now we have this, it gives more,
woman, time.
Okay. Thank you, Council President. I just, when I was listening to Harry rattle off all his duties that he needs to be performing, you can't, Harry, you're working 40 hours, now you're working 60 hours, now you're working 80 hours. People can think not. But now, Harry, are you also the affirmative action officer too?
no.
Appropriation officer, which I totally disagree, that we needed a separate person to be a affirmative action officer. But Harry, everything that you matter all, making sure contractors make sure they do what they're supposed to do with hiring minorities, hiring the women, orphan contract for women. Everything that you rattle off, to think that that you so what the public agency compliance officer in detail in every single thing that they're supposed to be doing. Because you know what? I'm not quite his job requirement, but I gotta go with you, Councilman Moran. Councilman Velez, Harry Savalas need to have a stipend to go along with this title.
And not only that, Councilwoman, is that when I fail the city requirement.
Council President,
And we, hold on a minute,
Yeah, thank you.
Councilwoman.
No, we can't put a figure in there, but we can put stipend. We can put something in there.
Can we pull this regarding additional duties for work that he does? And I never get involved in personnel, but since we had a personnel committee, we did bring it up. And Councilwoman Davila could tell you that we had this discussion there.
Correct.
We need to look at additional duties, right? Things that are not supposed to be performed by other agencies. That's not the responsibility of a purchasing agent. His job, he's hired to work with us, not to work for other agencies. So I suggest we pull this and leave it for the next meeting until we have the discussion with the BA and personnel.
But if we pull it and bringing now that we go asking for stipend or whatever, create another position for anybody else.
Absolutely. We'll put it and we'll work on this.
Council President, Council President,
Recommendation from Councilman Mims. Go ahead, Councilman Mims. And then we'll let Harry,
Yes.
Councilman Mims or no? Go ahead, Councilman.
Council President,
With pulling it, but in pulling it, I would like to see added to the job description and all that, what is the commensurate for people that are operating in this title? So when we're putting in or adding the stipend, what attached to it, even in the finance committee or whatever, that will be presented to this council. So I wanna see what dollars and cents, not just something we make up in our head. I wanna see, side by side comparisons to what's happening in other municipalities before we put a dollar amount that really does not equate to what should be added to this additional responsibility. Thank you, Council President.
Let's put it, yes.
resolution in front of you tonight, because according with the same law, which is NJAC 1727-3.3, the designation has to be sent to the issue that Madam BA mentioned before, no later than January 10th.
Thanks, yeah.
So my solution to this is this, council member. This is not new. Normally, people get promotions or get additional duties,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
You shouldn't just shoot from the hip. You gotta do, some research on this.
Move to vote.
Roll call, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Council President. Roll call on item number 21, which is Resolution 21-679. Councilwoman Cotton. Councilwoman Cotton?
You mean to tell me we only got 5 people on here now?
Yes.
Yeah, some people,
I know you're saying this designation has to be done by January 10th, but also I want to put it on record that we, even though we need to vote on this to appoint Harris Wallace as our compliance officer, but I want to make sure it's on record that we're going to include a stipend with it later on down the road. With that being said, my vote is yes.
He's been doing an outstanding job for many, many, many years. But I think that, an amendment could happen later on, and we could include that, the figure, the number that have to go with the position with the additional duty on there. So I look forward to have a conversation at the Finance Committee meeting, Mr. Chairman. So my vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Mendez. Councilwoman Mims?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So this is just to the viewing public, this is just another example of how our employees are not always fairly treated and compensated. With that being said, I know this is something that we need in place, but I am praying that we add a stipend because we cannot continue to load on work and responsibility pay. We had it on the agenda, we voted on a drawdown of $2 million. I would like to know to our BA, to the administration in writing, what is happening now. So because there will be a discussion, I'm gonna vote yes, but if we do not add it, I'm gonna ask for this to be reversed because Mr. Stavello does not need any extra work on his plate. And I'm gonna say that on record, publicly, and I can say it privately. We gotta do better. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
Well, Harry Sabalos, I commend you to get knowledge and to get prepared for our city. So I commend you, not only you, your staff that you have in your office that makes the work look good with that team, leadership like you. So, Madam BA, Councilwoman stated right. We approve it. We put $2 million aside from that $63 million. You know what? And they still have not got the house of pay. And then now to take care of the city, the service, and what's going on with this new COVID variants that are going on now. So saying that, I know there's gonna increase in the, aspect of hazard pay. So I would recommend to look into $5 million to add to hazard pay, because I know that bill is gonna go high. So saying that, Harris Amalo immediately, I will appreciate. So my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Council President.
I just want to make it clear, so, we're on the same team here, we're trying to work together, but I think you were not at those personnel meetings. The report was submitted by Deborah Hannibal and your assistant VA, so check with her tomorrow. I verified with Councilwoman Davila, yes, the discussion we had there. I think Councilwoman Cotton was not part of the committee, but Councilwoman is always interested, the city of the business of the city. So I know you stepped in some of the meetings. I don't know if you were there for that one. And Councilman Velez, you were there for some of the meetings too. But
Yes.
you had your assistant VA there, you had your then personnel director there, and this report came directly from them, just so you know. And I even approached you with this report, and I wasn't corrected either at the time. That's why I don't understand why I gotta be corrected today in public. So when we spoke, I was not corrected. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Item 21 is adopted on condition that the resolution be amended at a future date to include a stipend for the public agency compliance officer.
Council President?
I think there's been, actually, let me bring that back. I think it was 2 people, but the report only included 1. It didn't include the other person. I just remember, it just reminded me. Thank you very much. Councilman Mims.
So I know we have a few items left. I'm only able to take 2 more items, so I'm not sure on the record now. I'm not sure which 2 we're gonna take. I would hope it is our stenographer, because if not, we won't have votes. So I hope we would take her for sure, and then whatever else. After that, I have to leave.
We didn't act on the second reading ordinances either, right?
Oh,
We haven't done it.
Council President, they're gonna have to publish it again. I can't sit here for another, I just can't. I can't sit here for, we got 7, but it was loaded from the 14th meeting, and it got loaded from that one. And then council people, y'all gotta be fair, like, maybe some of us have to go somewhere. I need to go home, because I got something to do tomorrow. I need to.
Let's do number, we need this for the next meeting. Let's do number 22.
Yeah, correct. And she haven't moved all night. She been still standing.
Let's do number 22.
Item number 22 is resolution to rescind resolution number 21-619 and authorizing a new contract to A. Lopez Court Reporters LLC for certified stenographer services for the city clerk, RFP number.
Councilman Mims.
Just really quickly, Madam VA, can you, just put on record what is the change, for the new contract for a stenographer who's doing a phenomenal job?
Sure. So the way that it was worded, this year was on the details there that it was, it followed the proper purchasing process, that it was advertised and the like. Because you don't always have to do that with professional services, and we wanted to make sure that it was transparent, that we actually follow the proper process here.
Thank you, Madam VA.
Roll call, Madam Clerk. All right, roll call. Madam Clerk.
Somebody has a cat.
Sorry, I'm muted. Yes, Council President, would you let me do the roll call?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 22, Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Mims.
Ermelinda, I'm glad you're gonna stenography this into the record. I'm very selfless, very humble, and always service with a smile. Thank you for all you do. I am gratefully supporting this item. You deserve the contract and more. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
Congratulations, I know you do a great job and you put a smile on all of us. What happened? What happened?
Councilman, we have one more resolution. Can we speed it up, please?
And Council President, if I may say something for the second reading ordinance number 1, to publish that ordinance, it costs over $600 to republish it. And this is going in for the third time. So if we could get to that, it would save the city some money at least.
About $600?
Over $600 for publication.
Guys, we're in the middle of roll call. Can we finish a roll call, then we could speak about what we need to speak. Can we finish?
Councilman Velez.
Okay, thank you. Once again, Melinda, thank you for putting that, good working with us and having patience with us. So, today is a great day. So, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman. Council President.
Yeah, I don't think she's paid enough. Some of those council members talk so much. You know how much you have to work every night? My vote is yes. Agenda, not some of the other items. So number 25.
Correct.
Item number 25 is resolution to purge taxes on various properties within the city of Paterson due to corrections of block and lots designations and assessments. Finance Resolution 21683.
Move. Discussion.
I'm sorry, but Madam Clerk, isn't this item gotta be, did we vote this item on the agenda?
This one, no.
No, so we gotta vote this on the agenda.
It was on the agenda.
It was added on the agenda. We had to vote only one and that one failed.
Right, and then what about this one, no?
Amen. Second by Councilman Velez.
Yeah.
I did it first. Okay. Council President, discussion. Now, we purging taxes. It's my understanding, I don't know if legal could answer me or correct me on this. A 501(c) is a nonprofit organization. Here, we purging taxes out of the hospital site.
So Councilman, remember that we were in litigations with them. We were saying we were supposed to pay taxes, and then they were saying they didn't, and we actually got into we actually did a settlement with them.
703 Main Street, not the surrounding property that he had, because it's not on the footprint of the hospital. Now,
Councilman, listen,
Yeah.
I'm sure they did their research. Remember, the whole hospital at one time,
They're all the same properties. So we're just they're being cleared from our books. They're from some of them are from 1982. We're all exempt. They should have never, I'm not sure why they were put on a sale.
right, that charter school, the charter school do not own the property at all. The charter school is rented to that charter school. Why that property is exempt of paying taxes, and now we have to purge the taxes?
Councilman, we had a sixth ward, that one specifically. The one you're asking, we had this discussion many times in finance before. That they ruled in their favor. I see your point. I was upset myself. But
So, Joseph, total?
How much is from St. Joseph that we're purchasing?
Yeah.
I think St. Joseph is the major part, is about 22 million. And
All right.
they're city held liens.
nobody bought them,
Yeah,
Councilman.
nobody bought them.
Oh, nobody bought
They're
it.
horrible, yeah.
Well, they're doing, Councilman, they're doing what I've been asking them to do for 4 years now. They asked 4 years ago to analyze the liens that we have, and the ones that are good, we should foreclose on the properties, and the ones that are not good, get rid of them. That's what they're doing right now, Councilman. They're doing what we have.
All right. I don't sit on finance, that's why I have to ask this question. Thank you.
Roll call on item number 25. Council President.
Yes.
The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Item number 25 is hereby adopted.
There was number, I believe number 24. We might lose $2 million if we don't act on this one.
Item number 24 is resolution authorizing the City of Paterson's participation in various national opioid litigation resolutions. Administration Resolution 21682.
We have a motion?
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Councilwoman Cotton, second by Councilman Velez.
Well, hold on. That being said, we going to,
Be the litigation.
I can answer if you'd like, Council President.
Please.
Good evening, everyone. This is Dominic Stampone. Councilman Velez, if you recall, we initiated litigation. This is a rare instance where the city was the plaintiff. We initiated this litigation in 2017. We were the first city in New Jersey to do so. But soon after, it snowballed and literally hundreds of. Long story short, the case was removed from Passaic County to federal court. And then, against our arguments, all the matters were consolidated together in the Northern District of Ohio in federal court, what's called a multi-district litigation. At that point, not surprisingly, although disappointingly, the state of New Jersey essentially took the lead, and that is that the state felt it could have more leverage dealing on behalf of all municipalities. That might have been true for small towns, but Paterson felt that it should be on its own and fight this case. Unfortunately, the court did not agree, and frankly did not agree for any cities. So now you're left with the 50 states, actually it might have been, I think, 48 states, that settled with the farm. The city of Paterson will be a creditor. Tonight's resolution allows us to enter into these group settlements because we're no longer alone. We no longer have the choice of proceeding alone. Bottom line, we're guaranteed just shy of $3 million. We'll call it $3 million. It's
No-brainer, Councilmember.
Yeah.
We do this.
Yeah.
Is nothing to compare to what the pharmaceutical company made. 600 million is nothing. And they could care less how many addicts they created. They could care less how many people take pain pills. They could care less because they're making they're in the billions. If you ever watch TV now, you see more pharmaceutical prescription being advertised for every little thing that you can come up with. I have never in my life seen so much prescription drugs being advertised. But that being said, my vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just very brief. I mean, the pharmaceutical company, that's one of the most powerful groups in terms of in the industry. But I think that this is only the beginning. I definitely agree with that. But this city is being damaged tremendously with the opioid epidemic that we're facing. And there's more conversation that needs to take place, in this direction. So.
we probably got, we gotta probably see a conference tomorrow. But let me say this, pharmaceutical are here to make money, right? And then we could see it with this pandemic. Let me tell you something, they're making millions, billions of dollars with this pandemic. Only with the COVID-19 test, prescribe this type of medicine. So my vote is yes on this.
Thank you, Councilman. Council President?
Yes.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Item number 24 hereby adopted.
Move to vote.
We almost, no, wait a second, wait a second, please. We gotta do number 7.
7, yes, correct.
Madam, Councilwoman Mims, what I said 7, I meant 1 and 7. I've been waiting for Key Street and Rosa Parks Boulevard for God knows how long, please.
Hold on. Do you want to finish? Because Councilwoman Mims, I respect you both.
I know, that's what I said.
You need to leave. You've been waiting a long time for this.
I know.
Can this wait? Or we
No,
can
we've been,
Council President,
I'm gonna have to wait. All right, let's go with 1. I have to wait.
number 1 is also
You're muted.
Let's do number one.
Item number one is a second reading ordinance to revise Paterson Code Chapter 453 entitled Towing to include a new definition, an updated towing schedule, and administrative fees for the city of Paterson. It's a police ordinance 21058.
Move it.
Moved by Councilwoman Khan. Have a second.
I'm sorry, I move it, somebody mute me.
Second by
Second by Councilwoman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
No, open up the public portion.
See, here no one.
Right, that's why it's a second reading.
This requires public hearing, yes.
Here no one, move to close.
Do we have anyone?
We have no speakers for the public hearing. Yes, thank you.
Second.
Okay, Councilman Mendez, second by Councilwoman Cotton. Roll call, Madam Clerk. Close.
Roll call to close the public hearing. Councilwoman Cotton? Councilwoman Cotton? Councilman Mendez?
Yes, I'm sorry, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes, to close.
Councilwoman Mims?
Yes, to close.
Councilman Velez?
I approve whatever the baby's saying back there, yes.
Oh,
Council
baby.
President?
The council president baby.
Oh. Got a bunch of baby, Council President.
Council President?
Time with her today. I said my vote was yes.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Public hearing on item number 1 is closed.
Roll call.
Roll call on item number 1 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and this is through the chair to Madam BA. Madam BA, I definitely hope that we really pay attention to this legislation. And I'm just gonna read page 4 of the 18, and it says the tower should have sufficient equipment to tow any size of vehicle utilizing highway, street, and road in the city of Paterson. I'm getting so many calls about commercial truck parking overnight throughout the entire city, not only in the third ward, and we're not taking action about that. This is something that's against the law. After 9 o'clock, commercial vehicles, they cannot be parking in the road. Now, Paterson, it looks like a junkyard, because I never see now, before, you never see a car without plate. Now you drive around Paterson, and you see cars without plate out there, all messed up, people doing, parking cars that need to be repaired outside, and so on and so forth. I don't know what the administration is doing about that. So a lot of people, they taking the sidewalk to do repair. So something has to be done by the VA, because Paterson will look like a junkyard. So I hope the administration pay attention and take action on this. I'm personally be calling the director speciality to all those trucks that are parked overnight, not only in the third ward, but in the entire city. So it's my hope that the administration start enforcing the law. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Councilman Mendez. Councilwoman Mims?
So before I vote to the viewing public, I will not be on live with the next vote if we go forward. I will be off camera to vote on number 7, but I will not be live. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Velez?
I would invite Councilman Alex Mendez to go to the new yard that citywide towing have inquired to make sure all the trucks that are illegally parked, they're being towed. And the list I will supply you the next days about how many trucks are being towing from the city.
I've been there, Councilman. I've been there.
So don't make the statement that the city is this and this and that, and you come to this and you say you've seen there and you've seen the trucks there. You're going, but in the 5th ward they've been towing a lot of cars, and I had to make this statement because you cannot take every item in the city of Paterson that we're dealing and make part of it that the city look like a junkyard. How are we selling our city? And people want to be made that way, selling our city the wrong. The citywide company is doing their job. Let's get the facts right. So my vote is yes, and they're doing a great job, and this ordinance is gonna put teeth on there.
Thanks,
So-
Councilman. Council President.
Real quick, it's gonna take some time to get it back to what it was. There was a time that it wasn't being attended. And you know, Councilman Velez, there was a time, we have several meetings here where we complain about it.
Correct.
Started doing it, that's fine, but we still got a lot of work to do. So I think that's what maybe the councilman is referring to. The vote is yes.
Thank you, Council President. The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Item number 1 is hereby adopted.
So I didn't understand what Councilwoman Mims stated. So she's there to vote?
Yes.
Council President, you can later.
Yeah, she said she'll be there, but she won't be on camera.
That's fine. Let's do number 7 then.
Thank you, Council President.
Item number 7 is a second reading ordinance establishing always stop control at the intersection of Rosa Parks Boulevard and King Street. Public Works Ordinance 21-064.
Second,
Move it.
Moved by Councilman Cotton, second by Councilman Mendez.
Velez.
Velez.
Councilman Velez.
There is no one for the public hearing.
Move to close.
Close.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Cotton. Vote to close.
Roll call to close the public hearing. Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Council President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Public hearing on item number 7 is closed.
So, council members, you wanna finish the handicap spots? A lot of people have been waiting a long time for the spots.
No.
Yes, they can group them together.
Alright,
They can group them together and just do one vote.
can we group them together?
Yes, we can. I just read the titles and you just vote on them
We
simultaneously.
need to vote on this one. We haven't finished voting on this one.
We gotta vote for number 7.
Right, let's finish number 7, I'm sorry.
Roll call on item number 7 for approval. Councilwoman Cotton,
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to say for number 7, which is King Street, Rosa Parks Boulevard, one of our people who called in tonight asked about the Rosa Parks Boulevard from King Street to Line Street. I tried to make that a one-way, and our fire department said it could not be done. With that being said, my vote is yes.
thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Mendez,
My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Velez,
Just be patient in installing the signs, because they need to, yes, it takes work, and a lot of those employees are right now in COVID-19, quarantine, so be patient, at least the ordinance is moving forward, and, I'm gonna make sure council will be kind that the first thing is done, okay? I vote yes.
thank you, Councilman. Council President,
Yes.
the votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Item number 7 is hereby adopted.
We put all the ones, all the other ordinance together?
Yes, okay, so there are 2 to repeal and there are 3 to establish. So I'll do all 3 establishing ordinances. The first one is Public Works Ordinance 421, establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations at 270 Atlantic Street, 150 Illinois Avenue, 34 Oxford Street, 466 Park Ave, 114 Bird Street, 55 James Street, 136 North 9th Street, 14 Redwood Ave, 231 Liberty Street West, 130 Maitland Ave, 425 Park Ave, and 290 Redwood Ave. Ordinance number 21060, ordinance establishing handicap parking spaces at various locations at 176 Beach Street, 83 North 11th Street, 85 Paterson Street, 140 Paterson Ave, 962 East 24th Street, 35 North 4th Street, 372 Park Ave, 256 Van Houten Street, 45 Wayne Ave, 40 22 Elk Street, 105 North 7th Street, 494 Park Ave, 68 Marshall Street, 480 East 33rd Street, and 365 Knickerbocker Ave. Ordinance number 2161, establishing handicap parking spaces at 282 East 21st Street, 753 East 25th Street, 163 28th Ave, 267 East 22nd Street, 367 East 30th Street, 351 20th Ave, 371 East 24th Street, and 275 12th Ave.
Move.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez.
There are no speakers for the public hearing on these items.
So moved by Councilman Cotton, second by Councilman Mendez to close the public, portion, public hearing.
Roll call to close the public hearing and items numbers 59, 60, and 61. Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Council President.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Public hearing and items 59 through 61 hereby closed.
Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call for approval on items number 59 through 61. Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims,
For the public, I stayed on, yes.
Councilman Velez,
I just wanna put on the record, it's ordinance 234, it's not, 59 and whatever. But my vote is yes.
Council President. Council President.
Yes.
Council President, okay. The votes on items number 59, ordinance 21059, 21060, and 21061 are 5 yeses and 4 absences. Those items are hereby adopted. The last 2 items are second reading ordinances repealing establishment of handicap parking spaces at various locations, 125 4th Avenue, 126 17th Ave, 199 Emerson Ave, 788 East 23rd Street, 56 North 4th Street, 365 12th Ave, 81 Beach Street, 688 East 26th Street, 90 Carbon Street, 148 16th Ave, 22 North 4th Street, 240 23rd Ave, 602 14th Ave, 408 20th Ave, 723 East 26th Street, 247 East 25th Street, 32 Highland Street. Ordinance 2163, repealing the establishment of handicap parking spaces at 46 Knickerbocker Avenue, 64 Grove Street, 367 East 27th Street, 676 East 30th Street, 977 East 22nd Street, 166 Carlisle Ave, 31 Albion Ave, 169 Knickerbocker Ave, 253 Paxton Street, 318 East 30th Street, 853 East 22nd Street, 30 Ryerson Ave, 50 Dorima Street, 178 Sherman Avenue, 23 George Street, 1042 East 22nd Street, 441 East 39th Street, 825 East 22nd Street, 33 Paterson Ave, 10 Albion Ave, 218 Wayne Ave.
So move.
Moved by Councilman,
Velez.
second by Councilman Velez.
Second by numbers 21062 and 21063. Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Velez.
What is this for?
To close the public hearing on the last 2 items.
Yes.
Council President.
Yes.
The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Public hearing on items 62, 21062, 21063 closed.
Roll call?
Roll call for approval on items number 21062 and 63. Councilwoman Cotton,
Yes.
Councilman Mendez,
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilwoman Mims,
Yes.
Councilman Velez,
The public audience out there, we repealing 40 spaces, that means, or they didn't pay the fee, they will report it, they was not used, or they are no longer in use. Thank you to the residents that have reported, and those council members also have reported to DPW. Thank you for the DPW Traffic Division for repealing, the handicaps. My vote is yes.
thank you, Councilman. Council President,
Yes.
the votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. Items number 62 and 63 are hereby adopted.
Move to close.
Proposed by Councilman Velez, do we have a second?
Second,
Second by Council.
I just want to put it on record, I will not be here for the January 4th meeting, but I just want to say to my people out there, my constituents, to everyone, my Thanksgiving, my 30th annual, Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner at Masonic Temple. So we gave away 55 bikes. I want to say to my 3 bike people who put my bikes together, Timmy Greer, Charlie Batchelor, and Letcher Poindexter. Thank you guys for putting those bicycles together for Councilwoman for the 2nd annual Mankind Foundation and our 38th annual. And I also want to say to all the ones that contribute, I haven't been able to put anything in the community. Thank you to my runners. I delivered 100 meals to senior buildings. And I want to thank my daughter, who was I call her my runner, and I want to thank Corey Willis, who was one of my runners to deliver meals to my senior buildings on Christmas Day. I need more to say, but I got to go. Council members, I want to wish you all a happy New Year's. It's a skeleton crew. And I want to say to the community out there, this pandemic is coming back. It's coming back, and we have to be mindful of everything that we're doing. So Amelia, thank you for still hanging in there with us. You are excellent. But to you all out there, my council members, to my community, I want to wish you all happy New Year's. God blessings. My council members who hung in there with us tonight. Flavio Rivera, Luis Velez, Alex Mendez, Councilwoman Dr. Lisa Mims, and myself. We hung in there. The way to go. Everyone, happy New Year's out there, community. God bless you all. Madam Clerk, love you.
I just want to say that I'm always saying that it's always a blessing for me to serve this great city of Paterson. And so let me start by thanking all the team members for the great job that we did at the toys giveaway. We got over 2,000 children at the park. It was incredible. It was one of the largest toys giveaway this year. After we finished in third ward, we went to the entire city of Paterson with our flow, and we definitely worked since early in the morning all the way until night, passing 8 o'clock at night. So I really want to thank you all, Team Mendes, and also for the food distribution. In the month of December, we helped around 600 families with food. It was a lot of work, but we made it. That was one of our goals. And definitely we got it done. So it's always a blessing serving the community. And to all my third ward residents, thank you for keeping me up to date. I've been knocking on the door block by block, and definitely we've been making a lot of progress. We've been fixing a lot of the issues that are affecting those blocks, and I'm excited. I'm just excited, and I hear all the good news that every time I knock on one of those doors. So that just helped me keep moving forward, Patterson. And also, let me just say that we need to pray for our city. I will keep all those families that are going through COVID again.
Councilman Mendez, you have to
Bring
leave.
the left out.
We need a quorum.
Councilwoman Mims,
So, to the community at large, thank you for your patience. Corporation Council, to our clerk, deputy clerk, secretaries, council colleagues, have a great Happy New Year, because we will not, well, some won't see each other before that. I'm praying for all of the families. There are so many to name that are impacted by whether it's the new COVID variant, whether it's COVID, prayers are out to so many families that we've been dropping off different care and wellness packages to their doors. So definitely praying for you. To the community at large, to the family, many people do know. And for those that don't know, back in 1984, my father and Mr. and I am just really many people, the community at large, he was definitely a pillar. There are some arrangements that are forthcoming. We will definitely bring that announcement to the community at large. We're not sharing the details as of yet, but we will have them out very shortly after we do the final piece. No one that does not know who he was. So please keep us all in prayer. It's a difficult challenge. And, you know, I was saying it, and sometimes we don't even know why we're doing the things that we're doing, but we know it's out of the kindness of our heart. I don't know. Forgive me, because I don't want to leave this earth and be in a position where I have not made my amends. Paterson, I'm not there. I don't know the full details, but there is a community at large that's out there very upset. Pray for our community, even when there are issues amongst us. We have to learn. I'm praying for my council colleagues. I'm praying for our clerks, our stenographer, Corporation Council, BA, CFO, everyone. I'm praying for everybody because we all need prayer and we all need to be able to love despite all the other issues. God bless you, Paterson. My vote is yes.
Thank you, Councilman Mims. Councilman Velez?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to rebrief those residents, my aide, Julia Fermin, and also Joara Ramirez to answer the calls and help me to relocate these families. You know, in the middle of Christmas, in the middle of festivities, we had this tremendous fire in the Fifth Ward, and there was going on in the city of Paterson, especially in the Fifth Ward. I want to send a good commendation to, and also big thank you to the staff of the Board of Health. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going 150% out of their way to serve the community with this COVID test and vaccinating people with the first shot, second shot, the booster. You know, they overwhelming staff for doing the diligent work. You know, I just want to remind the resident of Paterson that we have 5 new vans not affiliated to the city of Paterson. It's not paid by the taxpayers. Is a conjunction work with Dr. Fanja, his Smith Street, van number 3, located 174 Main Street in Paterson, New Jersey, 440 Chamberlain Avenue, and 272 Edison Street, and also the site and 680 Broadway of the old Barnet Hospital. All those vehicles, beside the one that we have with the city doing COVID tests, you know, there's a link that you could log in to get your result at patientlabcorp.com if you have done and performed your tests through the city Board of Health or the COVID-19 mobile unit from the city. You could go at labcorp.com. The DPW, the personnel that in this 2021 have been there for the city with limitation, sometimes without equipment, but they have rendered their service with the capacity that they was called for. And you know, I'm grateful for everyone in the chambers, you know, from the 3rd floor all the way down to the COVID. It was having a year that I have been going through a lot of trials, but those trials do not make me stronger to make sure that I serve the community with the capacity that they was called me to do. So saying that, and not for least, I know Council President, yes, I pick up petition. I want to clear a comment or rumors that people are saying that I'm running just to divide votes, that the mayor and somebody's paying me to run with the passion, with the boots on the ground, and with the experience that I have in government, making sure that the same way the Fifth Ward looks, better than ever. The city all the way around looks the same. So saying that, just vote, go out and vote. I don't care. Council President, thank you. I appreciate your patience. God bless you all. Have a wonderful year. Happy New Year. God bless you all. My
Thank
wish.
you, Councilman.
Thank you.
Council President,
I'll be very brief. Just want to let the commissioners of the Board of Education that we always got to look at the positive in everything. There was part of the fight. I was part of the effort. And the last thing I want to see is for us to take, that authority away from you guys. This is not about taking the authority. This is about, doing what's right for our taxpayers. But we'll have time to discuss this later on. My vote is yes.
thanks, Council President. The votes are 5 yeses, 4 absences. The closeout meeting of December 29, 2021 is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone.
Wait a second, Council President. Since we got the DPW director in here, my phone is blowing up. It's been blowing up for 2 days. I'm not sure if he's on, but garbage has not been picked up in some areas since Monday. And it should have been Christmas Saturday, but.
All right. How about the administration? You have the DA here.
Can you help us, Madam DA?
Relay the message to Billy and we will post it on Facebook.
Good night. Good night.
Good night, all.
Right.